Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we've talked a lot about New Jersey and that's great and we will continue to do so, but it's about time that we take some time out of our day to talk about Virginia because there's a governor's race that's happening there, and arguably more prominently down ballot there's some races taking place. I'm not talking about the lieutenant governor's race. You do have a weak Democrat facing a relatively weak Republican, and then for the Attorney General slot, it seemed like Jay Jones was going to knock off incumbent Attorney General Jason Miyares by probably around like 5 points or so. But the tides have turned because of those leaked text messages where he was just fantasizing about the murder of his political opponents and their children, and he lost a lot of support. Jason Miyares has gained support. I don't know if Jason Miyares is going to win by 7 points. I don't know what the ticket split's going to look like at the end of the day, but this poll out of Qantas, it is showing Jason Miyares up by 7. It is showing John Reed trailing Ghazala Hashmi by 4. And it's also showing Winsome Sears closing the gap, but still behind Abigail Spanberger by 5 points. And she's at that magic number of 50. That's not really a place where you want your opponent to be. And you look at New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill in the aggregate, she's like at 48, and I think a hair below 48. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out for sure. We're going to analyze these polls some more, what's going to go down in Virginia in just a couple of weeks. But first, I got to tell you guys about my friends over at Chalk. Men's testosterone levels decline 1% a year on average after the age of 30. Even worse, their levels on average are half of what they were 50 years ago. Testosterone is more than just your manhood. It's critical for mental clarity, mood, sleep, and overall vitality. And the Patriots at Chalk.com, CHOQ.com, have formulated a blend of natural herbal supplements that support your body's natural testosterone production. Just one ingredient in their male vitality stack has boosted free testosterone levels by more than 50% in just 21 days. And right now, you can get 25% off your Chalk subscription for life. Just go to Chalk.com, that's CHOQ.com, and use the promo code REDEAGLE. That's 25% off any subscription for life, and you could cancel at any time. Chalk is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by to assist you. That's Chalk.com, CHOQ.com, promo code REDEAGLE, or you can call or text them at 50-CHALK-3000. All right, guys, so it's important that we look at the aggregates of polls, too, because there's a lot of polls that have been released. Some are from right-leaning groups, some are from left-leaning groups, but regardless, there is a trend, and you saw this before the leak. There was not a single poll that had Jason Miyares winning. In fact, you had some polls that were never going to age well, but from like June or July that had him down by 17 points. Jay Jones was getting close to that magic number of 50. He actually hit it in a couple of polls, and then the text messages leaked, and then you had one poll, a Democrat poll, showed him up by 1 with a lot of undecideds. And then you had poll after poll, whether they've been from the Republicans or not. You have a Democrat poll they put out saying, oh, it's a tied ball game. And by the way, Jason Miyares, not only does he lead the aggregate by either like 1 to 4 points, depending on whichever aggregate that you want to use, he also is decimating in TV spending down the stretch. And that's a good thing, because what does that exactly mean? It means that he's going to be able to go out there and expose people to the scandal more and more and make sure that he can limit as many votes as possible for Jones. Jones currently sits at 44.2. A lot of undecideds, but keep in mind, this is a race that's going to be dictated by that top of the ticket. Right above it in the ticket, you have this race where you have John Reed. He's got some scandals as well, but they're more like funny scandals, more so than like actually like this person can never serve scandals. And then his opponent is a weak Democrat with a name that is very difficult for the average person to pronounce. That just usually doesn't bode too well on the ballot, whether people want to say it's fair or it's not. I mean, it's just reality. And that individual has led all of the polls, although it is true that she is below 50, and that does mean that Reed could win the undecideds and keep it competitive, but it is true, like I said, you do have the top of the ticket effects. Those usually don't always help with undecideds. The only difference, I think, for the Attorney General's race is because you do have that big scandal, and a lot of people are going to be exposed to it if they already haven't been exposed to it in the next 2 weeks, and they would defect. So we could see a big ticket split. We saw a big ticket split in North Carolina, where Mark Robinson, he underperformed the Republican Attorney General candidate by 12. I don't think that Sears is going to lose by 12 at the gubernatorial level. But speaking of the gubernatorial level, to replace Glenn Youngkin, who won in 2021, you have as Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears facing Abigail Spanberger. Spanberger, you can call her sociopath Spanberger, CIA Spanberger, because that's exactly where she was before she went to Congress. And now she's running for governor. She is just a stone-cold sociopath, I'll tell you that. You saw her at that debate. She couldn't answer a question. Now, Sears didn't do herself any favors by interrupting a million times. I mean, that's not what you want to do. Sears had some moments where she looked like the better person, the better candidate to an untrained observer, and then she had other moments where she just kind of came off a little belligerent, and you don't want to come off that way, even if what you're saying is 100% correct. So regardless, just looking at this race here, it's kind of not one that the Republicans are favored to hold. In fact, every outlet has it as either lean, likely, or solid Democrat. I think likely is fair. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up looking just like 2017, where the Democrats win it by like 8 to 9. But I will say that some of the polls show it kind of narrowing a bit, even though these polls do tend to be a little bit right-leaning. Qantas doesn't really have a track record as good as they've been so far to date. I don't really know if they have much of a track record in Virginia, at least when it comes down to polling statewide and off years. But they have Sears down 5, and then you have some polls, even right-leaning polls, that have Sears down 10, Sears down 5. You have Sears down 10 in a Democrat poll, Sears down 2. So either way, the aggregates are kind of telling us something. I think Spanberger is probably up by roughly around what they say. And when you're at that magic number of 50, it's not good for the Republicans. So people are asking, why is this? I think a big reason why is Virginia's kind of a blue state. Like, it's just the way it is. It voted for Kamala Harris by close to 6 points, and Sears is getting outspent like 10 to 1. And if this race manages to be closer than the presidential race, I don't know how Democrats are going to look at that and say it's like a moral victory for them. Even if it's an election victory, is it really a moral victory? Because if you're underperforming Kamala Harris in Virginia, despite outspending the Republican like 10 to 1, and if you're underperforming Kamala Harris in New Jersey by a few points after she had an abysmal performance for a Democrat in New Jersey, I'm not going to say it's a full-on indication that there's like a red wave going on, because that's just not true. I don't think that that's the right way to look at it, because, again, you can't compare it to a presidential race. You have to compare it to a statewide race, even though I would say the fundamentals would show Donald Trump to have had a better performance in Virginia than Winsome Sears is about to have. And if the Democrats can't match that, it's like, what's the argument for a blue wave, essentially? Because a lot of these special elections they talk about, they've not even been national races. Those have been statewide races, too. And if you're seeing in the state of Virginia an underperformance, which is where you have a heavy portion of college-educated white voters that love to show up in midterms, it's like, I don't know how you could spin that as something positive is really what I'm trying to get at here. And even if Sears ends up losing by like 7 or 8, I don't think that's really the best result for the Democrats either. Although I will say Jay Jones, he needs to lose. Everybody needs to get out and vote in either one of these states, Virginia or New Jersey. And it does seem like, yeah, Republicans are on track for a respectable performance at the governorship level and the lieutenant governor, and then the attorney general's race seems like they could be headed for victory. I say lean R at a minimum on the attorney general front, but get out and vote, everybody. So like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.